Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? This reading is going to be for really the second half of September 2023. As always, for every single reading that I do, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme for the reading. I do have the tarot deck that we'll be using already shuffled, the clarification tarot deck we'll be using, and then the advice card I'll be pulling at the end in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, so do remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Capricorn, in your recent past, you have adjustments are required with the Hangman in reverse. So this is interesting to me because I feel like it's either that your recent past was about what was you making adjustments, you making certain changes in your life, or certain information coming to the surface about changes that needed to be made. Now, with the Hangman in reverse, it kind of makes me feel like it's the latter, like that you are kind of holding on to maybe a certain path or a certain relationship or certain career, or whatever the case is. And there was this need to kind of like let go and allow things to happen, like almost like let go and let it flow, right? Like that's really what this energy is about. But in your current energy, you have a new start is coming with the Temperance in reverse. So I feel like this new start has kind of felt like a long time coming for you. I feel like you're ready for it, and maybe even feel it coming, like intuitively. But you're starting to get a little frustrated with the Temperance in reverse because it hasn't yet shown up. I feel like we'll get information on why that is the case. And then in your immediate future, you have it's time to take action with the Seven of Swords in reverse. So it almost feels like to me, your future is about, it's almost like certain information is revealed to you, whether that's intuitively or from somebody else, or I don't know. It could depend. It totally depends on your situation. But certain information being revealed to you about either action that you need to take, or like this information causes you to take certain action. Either way, I feel like whatever this is what gets you closer to this new start, because the overall theme for the reading is, this is from Gabby Bernstein's Super Attractor deck, and it's, I'm in awe of the magnificent guidance that's available for me. So I almost feel like it's like you receive maybe not necessarily guidance, but certain information that guides you in a direction, which I guess could be guidance, but it's not like direct guidance. It's not like do this. That's not what it feels like. It feels like certain information that leads to certain actions on your part. Now, I am changing the way that I'm doing these general readings. So we're going to actually pull and clarify the past and present in the reading, in the general reading instead of in the extended. So let's go ahead and dive in here, Capricorn. You have adjustments are required with the Hangman in reverse. This is for Capricorn's recent past. Adjustments are required with the Hangman in reverse. One more. Ooh, adjustments are required with the Hangman in reverse for Capricorn's recent past, please. This is for Capricorn's recent past. Recent past for Capricorn. Yeah, okay. Six of Pentacles in reverse, and there's the Queen of Cups. So this is about not receiving. This is about giving and not receiving, or feeling like you've invested in something but not seeing the benefits of it. And it's interesting because with this Queen of Cups, this could literally be you're dealing with a water sign of some sort, but it definitely doesn't have to, because I'm kind of seeing this as like, for a very long time, I feel like you kept your cool. Like that's a good way to, I think, describe this energy. It's like you held it together. You tried not to let it affect you for a really long time. But this energy is going to eventually affect you. When you're in a place of, giving and receiving, giving a lot, receiving, bare minimum, or receiving very little, eventually you're gonna, I don't want to say like you're gonna snap, but eventually you're gonna get to a point where you're like, I can't do this anymore. I've had enough of this kind of energy. And I feel like that's kind of what happened in your recent past. Like you got to it, or maybe not your recent past necessarily, but this past energy led you to getting to this place of like, I can't do this anymore. I can't stay in this same energy anymore, because this right here is not a reflection of your value. This is accepting quite a bit less than what it is that you deserve. Reset past for Capricorn. Adjustments are required with the Hangman in reverse. Reset past for Capricorn, please. So that's why I feel like adjustments were required, is because it kind of feels like you were trying to like not let it affect you, and trying to just hold on and do what you needed to do. But it actually led you. Okay, no, that was upright. It actually led you to like almost like, I don't necessarily know if burnout's the right word. It could be, but just getting to a point where you're like I said, like I can't take this anymore. You have the Knight of Wands with the Star in reverse. I feel like you really, whatever the situation is, like you really gave it your all. You put everything into it. There was a sense of vulnerability coming from you, like maybe even a sense of taking a chance on it, like a leap of faith maybe was involved in this. And I feel like you gave to this, and then we're kind of met with, because there's the Hangman in reverse. So you gave to this, but then it's like you gave everything and it gave very little. And you were holding on to it because you were like, well, and sometimes we get to a point when we're in that situation where we're like, well, maybe if I give more. And you see this all the time in like with people who have like corporate jobs. I'm not necessarily saying that's what this is, but like if sometimes you're in this corporate job and you are the first one in the office and you give everything you have and you always, get everything done on time and you go above and beyond, and you don't get that promotion or you don't get that acknowledgement. And so you're like, okay, maybe if I do more, maybe I'll show up to the office even earlier. I'll give even more. I'll give even more than is expected of me. And then, it kind of ends up biting you in the butt, because then that becomes your expectation, and it's like you never actually receive anymore for what you give. And again, I'm not saying this is a job. It could be relationships, it could be anything, but I feel like it's like you gave everything you had, and there was a part of you that's like, maybe if I give this like even more, I'll finally get what I deserve. But then you were just met with the same bare minimum, like very little reciprocation over and over again. And this could very well be a pattern for you in your recent past, or not just in your recent past, but in like further back in your past. But in your recent past, it came to the surface. Recent past for Capricorn. You had certain expectations of it. I feel like that's the biggest thing. The Ten of Cups in reverse. I feel like you had certain expectations of what it could be. And that's hard, right? When we see the potential of what something could be, we're willing to give it everything we have. And sometimes it can feel like giving up on that is us giving up on the potential and walking away from something that could be really good. But that's actually never the case. Typically when something proves to us over and over again that it's not going to reciprocate, that's more of a sign than it's more of a sign that there's an adjustment that needs to be made, instead of a sign that you need to do more. And I feel like sometimes we can often think like, oh, if I do more, if I pour more into this, then eventually it'll become, what it is that I desire or what I know it could be. But that never ends up being the case, because that is not actually the root of the problem. It's not that you're not giving enough. It's that it could be something that's not meant for you, or it could be something that has more to do with what's going on the other side than it does for, what's going on with you. All right, current energy for Capricorn. Let's shift gears here. You have a new start is coming with the Temperance in reverse. This is good news, though. Good news here. Current energy for Capricorn. A new start is coming with the Temperance in reverse. Current energy for Capricorn. But you're frustrated. You know something new is coming, but you're frustrated about the fact that it isn't here yet. I get that. I've been there. Current energy for Capricorn. Ooh, okay. 10 of Swords in reverse and 10 of Wands in reverse. So you're actually coming out of a pretty heavy period. Because this, I feel like this really started to affect you over time. Again, it's like you tried not to let it, but I feel like it inevitably did. And that's kind of the tricky thing, is sometimes we think that if we're, God, sorry, that wasn't on, that if we're aware that we're not getting treated like we deserve, or if we're aware of the fact that we deserve more, that we can think that it's not going to affect us, but it's still going to affect you. You know, that kind of bare minimum treatment and not really aligning with your worth, it's going to affect you, because a part of you is going to know that you are deserving of more. Now this kind of energy, to me, I feel like, especially with the Page of Wands here, this cycle here, this doesn't feel new. And I already kind of mentioned that, but I feel like the reason that this new beginning hasn't been created for you yet is because there's this need to fully embrace what this was trying to teach you. Because I feel, Capricorn, I'm going to be brutally honest with you here for a second, I feel like you have a tendency to give a hell of a lot more than you receive. And there could be a lot of different reasons for that. You could think that your worth comes from what you provide, and so you feel like you need to provide, you know, over and beyond, to be able to accept bare minimum, or even like a minuscule percentage of what it is that you need and deserve. It could be that you have learned that things always have to be difficult, that getting what it is that you deserve has to be a struggle, or has to be, it can be challenging, but it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to suffer in order to have it. And so I feel like there's something deeper going on that's actually keeping this new beginning from fully being able to manifest itself, because I feel like the universe is trying to get you to not repeat this. You know, when we invest in things for what they could be, while sacrificing what it is that it is. Let me rephrase that. When we invest in something for what it could be instead of what it shows us to be, we're investing in potential, and potential is something that doesn't exist. And when we hold on to that potential, what we do is we sacrifice what it is that we need and we deserve in the meantime, thinking that that sacrifice is going to eventually get us to where we're trying to go. But the universe provides exactly as we affirm. And when we invest in situations that provide us with less than what we deserve, what we are doing is affirming to the universe that that's all we're going to accept, because we accept what we think we deserve. And so it goes a lot deeper than just what happened. There's more going on. Now, I don't want you to think that this is me saying like this is your fault. I think that a lot of people, when I try to put the control back in your hands and I try to show you how, you know, we have a tendency to kind of manifest certain things that happen to us, whether knowingly or unknowingly, it can come, I think a lot of people think that it's me victim blaming or saying it's your fault this happened to you. That's not the case at all. But every single situation, no matter how negative, gives us an opportunity to learn from it so that we don't have to repeat it. That's the biggest thing, right? We are thrown into certain situations. We have certain lessons that we are here to learn in this lifetime. And learning that lesson is essentially why you've been placed in a situation in the first place. And if you don't learn it, you know, through one situation, it's going to be presented to you in another situation inevitably. And so I feel like what I'm getting at with all of this is there's more to why you haven't gotten this new start that you're desiring. It's almost like you're in a healing phase so that you can make sure that you're not repeating the same thing over and over again in different relationships or in different job cultures or whatever the case may be. Current energy for Capricorn, a new start is coming with the Temperance in reverse. Okay. Those are upside down. Ace of Cups, Hangman in reverse, Justice. Nine of Wands in reverse. Oh, okay. So there's a part of you that still has this tendency to hold on to something for what it could be instead of accepting it for what it is. And I will say that that's a very difficult thing to do, because when we're so used to experiencing and receiving less than what it is that we deserve, we start to believe on a certain level that that is as good as it gets for us, and that we have to accept less than what we deserve, because if we don't accept less than what we deserve, then we're going to have nothing. And that comes from a place of having experienced that. And what we believe starts to become what it is that we experience. So what's been happening, and I don't really feel like this is what it feels like to you, but what has been happening and what this overall kind of message is saying is that this is actually trying to teach you what you need to learn about your worth and what you will and will not accept, so that you can get what you deserve. I feel like a part of you might feel like you're destined to always receive less than what you deserve, just because that, I feel like, is a lot of what you've experienced, but that's not the purpose of what's happening here. This is about you getting what you deserve. This is happening so you can get what you deserve. So this justice here to me is almost like it's a result of this cycle closing. And the justice is not guaranteed, right? It's not guaranteed that that we're going to close out certain cycles. But I do feel like this reading is trying to say that the universe is trying to get you to see that you have been accepting less than what you deserve, and that that is not necessary in any situation for you to accept less than what you deserve for the sake of having something at all, or because you think it's better for somebody else, or whatever the case is. What is meant for us and what we're here to do will never ask us to sacrifice our worth, ever, 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 ever. And if that's a belief that you have, then there might be a need to kind of dive into that a little bit. Current energy for Capricorn, please. It's the control, though. I was doing a coaching session with someone, and this relates to the reading, not too long ago. And the biggest thing that we ended up kind of getting to a point of realizing in the session was that this person believed that everything in their life, every success, everything that they were able to receive, that it had to be difficult, that it had to be hard, that there had to be suffering involved. And we already kind of hit on this, but it goes a step further. When we feel like it's up to our control, then we will always find ourselves investing in our life from a place of fear and expecting that what it is that we want is never going to happen. And I feel, Capricorn, like that's what's been happening. And what I mean by that is when we invest in a place from a place of fear, what we're saying is, I have to make it work this specific way. This specific path has to work. This specific relationship has to work, or career path has to work, because if it doesn't, then I'm going to have nothing. Then I'm going to be empty-handed. Instead, the universe is asking you to let go a little bit and trust that you are being supported on this path. And that's why I am in awe of the magnificent guidance that's available to me. It's not all up to you. Now, maybe it has always been up to you. Maybe things have always fallen completely on your shoulders. It was always up to you to maybe take care of the people around you, or to be the person that supported everybody else around you. Maybe that was, that's always been the case, but that doesn't have to be the case. And deconstructing those beliefs and rebuilding them from a place of, I'm deserving of good things for who I am, not for what I do, I feel it can be really important for you at this time, Capricorn, so that you stop feeling like you have to give, invest to receive like a very small percentage of that. Healthy things that are meant for us in our life will give to us an equal amount of what we give to it. I like to kind of put that in the form of relationships. Relationships aren't always 50-50. You're not always going to show up with 50%, and the person that you're dealing with is never going to show up with 50%. That's not what I'm saying. But some days you're only going to have 30, and that person's going to show up with 70. But then some days that person only has 20 and you have to show up with 80. But the difference in the reciprocation is that you are not always the one that is making up the slack. There is reciprocal effort coming from both sides. And that doesn't just apply to relationships. That can apply to every single aspect of your life. It doesn't have to be difficult. You can lean on the universe for support. And when something isn't providing you with what it is that you are deserving of, that is not a sign that you need to try harder. That's a sign that you need to adjust what it is that you are investing in, which is why you have adjustments are required in your recent past. But let's get some clarity on this. I want to dive deeper into this because I feel like there's more here than what meets the eye. Recent past for Capricorn. Let's clarify the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Six of Pentacles in reverse for Capricorn's recent past, please. The Star in reverse with the Hangman in reverse. So we've now seen the Hangman in reverse in every single deck that we've pulled so far. And this Hangman in reverse is that holding on to, how you think things should be, how you think things should go, holding on to something and giving it everything you have, even though it shows you over and over again that it's not really deserving of that time and energy and effort that you give to it. There's an aspect here, Capricorn, of chasing. And the more that you chase something, the more that thing is going to run the other way. And we chase when we fear that what we desire is never going to come to fruition. And oftentimes we desire that what we want is never going to come to fruition when we don't really feel deserving of it. If we could show up into this world, as this person that believes that we are deserving of everything that we desire, and not doubt that even for a second, it would be super easy for us to get what we desire because we wouldn't have that fear and that doubt getting in the way. But we're human beings having a human experience. That's not a possible thing to do, to just show up without fear and without doubt. So we are going to find ourselves in situations where we find ourselves chasing, where we are overgiving or investing in something or trying to almost like prove to something or someone that we are deserving of what it is that we desire. And when we find ourselves doing that, that's often when we have to reevaluate what's really going on. Because if we ever feel like we have to prove our value in order to receive what it is that we deserve, then there's a part of us that doesn't believe that we're deserving of whatever it is that we desire for who we are, but we think that it has to do with what we do, what we provide. And the truth of the matter is, Capricorn, that you are deserving of good things in this world, of love, of abundance, of financial security. You are deserving of those things for who you are right now in this moment, not when you're more intelligent or more attractive, or not when you finally achieve that goal. That's not when you're deserving. You are deserving right now. But until we believe that, until you are able to fully internalize that belief, you're never going to experience what it is that you desire and deserve, because there's always going to be a part of you that's trying to prove, that's trying to chase. Reset past for Capricorn, please. Because you really did. You gave this everything you had. And I feel like, when we give something everything we have and it still doesn't invest in us, it can start to feel like, well, why am I not good enough? When in reality, it rarely has anything to do with us and everything to do with what's kind of on the other side. So this is kind of talking about that Page of Wands again. And there you are as the King of Pentacles. So Capricorn, there is a part of you, and I kind of saw this with this Page of Wands, like I kind of felt this vibe with what we were kind of talking about, but there's a part of you that has come to believe that sacrificing the Empress in reverse, your worth, is necessary for stability in your life, whether that be emotionally or materially. And that's why I said, when we were looking at that energy, that anything that is meant for you will never ask you to sacrifice what it is that you deserve. Will never ask you to sacrifice your worth. But there's a part of you that feels on some level, Capricorn, like that is a necessary requirement. That burnout is necessary. That like that it has to be hard. That it has to be, that you have to suffer for it. There's a difference between something being challenging, something pushing you to grow and pushing you to kind of evolve and something, having to suffer for something. Those are two completely different things. What's meant for us, it's going to be challenging. Of course it is. It's not easy to kind of have to face that fear and face that doubt and face that insecurity. It's never easy, but we don't have to suffer for it. And I feel like there's this part of you that feels like you have to suffer for it, for whatever it is that we're talking about, for love, for abundance, for whatever it is. Recent past for Capricorn, clarifying the Ten of Cups in reverse. And a big part of it comes from expectation, what you think something could be. High Priestess in reverse, the Five of Cups. Oh, that's interesting. Same Knight of Wands, except for it's in reverse. So I'm actually getting this as a completely separate message from this Knight of Wands. Yeah, okay. Because right here, with the Ten of Cups in reverse, it's almost like you investing in something for the potential, or investing in something from a place of expecting it to change, or expecting it to be what it is that you deserve, even though it constantly shows you that it's not. That's going to leave you disappointed every single time with the Five of Cups. And your intuition is trying to guide you in a different, more abundant direction. But I feel like that's what this is. I almost feel like you're not aware. Like, sometimes it's hard to hear our intuition because our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions and our desires, they all get in the way. And we sometimes abandon our intuition for the sake of our fear. And I kind of feel like that's something you've always maybe struggled with a little bit, Capricorn, is abandoned the path of alignment for the path of struggle and survival. Now, everybody has been there at some point in their life. So that is nothing to feel ashamed about. That's nothing you have not done anything wrong, but it has sabotaged you being able to get what it is that you desire. So again, this all goes back to the universe trying to tell you that this is about you getting what you deserve. This isn't the universe trying to take from you what you deserve or trying to screw you over or anything like that. This is the universe trying to lead you closer and closer to what it is that you do deserve. Current energy for Capricorn, Page of Wands. We've seen the Page of Wands twice now. Current energy for Capricorn, clarifying the Page of Wands. You do have a new start is coming, though. So there is a new start that's coming. But there's something that's required of you. Right now, Capricorn, there's this need to pay attention to your priorities and what it is that you are prioritizing. Are you prioritizing what is good for you? Are you prioritizing yourself? Are you prioritizing your health, your mental, emotional, and physical well-being? Are you prioritizing your peace? What are you prioritizing, or what are you used to prioritizing even? And how can you adjust that? Because adjusting your priorities will change your reality in like a heartbeat. I mean, if you've always done what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always gotten. If you repeat the same habits, if you prioritize the same things, if you always prioritize other people, or if you always prioritize fear, or whatever the case is, then you're always going to find yourself stuck in the same exact situation. So if you want things to change, if you want a new start to evolve, or to come into your life and evolve into the person that can attract that, then there's this need to step up and start to focus on what you can do to prioritize you. And I feel like that's a very new concept to you, Capricorn. Maybe prioritizing yourself feels very selfish because you've never done it before. Maybe you've learned that it's important to prioritize other people, or it's important to prioritize survival, and so of course you're going to prioritize those things. But remember, there are adjustments that are required for this new start here. Current energy for Capricorn, clarifying the Justice. Current energy for Capricorn, clarifying Justice. So there's guidance that you're receiving. Because the Page of Cups in reverse is like not listening to divine guidance. We already saw the High Priestess in reverse, and we have the Chariot in reverse. This is why things are not moving forward to what you deserve. There's certain things that you're needing to do. What is this Page of Cups in reverse? And maybe we're not, because it almost feels like that's what's revealed to you, and but it is already. That's why, okay, sorry, I get it now. I talked about this Seven of Swords in reverse, and I said whatever this is that is revealed to you isn't necessarily guidance, but it's something that happens that causes you to finally take action. So it's like guidance in like a reverse form, kind of. So for instance, this could be just like, I'm not saying this is what's happening. This is just the first thing that comes to mind. Say that you're working this job that you don't love, that you give everything you have to it, provides you with very little. You sacrifice your worth on a day-to-day basis, and this can be in a relationship too, whatever the case is. And the universe is trying to give, to divinely guide you in the direction and say, hey, you've got to shift gears here. You've got to start prioritizing yourself. You've got to walk away from what doesn't serve you. You've got to choose yourself. You don't have to sacrifice for stability, whatever the case might be. And you continue to invest in that job. Well, eventually, maybe you lose that job. Or maybe another job becomes available for you, which causes you to finally take that action. Sometimes when we don't follow certain guidance, and it happens a lot of times, but sometimes when we don't follow that certain guidance, and certain things will happen in our life that will almost force us in that direction. And to us, it can often feel like things are going wrong, but in reality, it's actually, again, this is about you getting your justice. This is about you getting what you deserve. Current energy for Capricorn, clarifying the Emperor in reverse, but there's this need to let go a little bit here. To let go of the wheel a little bit. Let go of this control. Clarifying the Emperor, Capricorn's current energy. It's the continued sacrifice. You control by sacrificing what it is you deserve for the sake of things coming together. And that's always going to lead to things falling apart, because you cannot sustain this energy. You cannot sustain the Empress in reverse kind of energy forever. It's not possible. Okay, we are going to hop on over to the extended and look at this and what you need to focus on in your immediate future. It's time to take action with the Seven of Swords in reverse. I'm going to, pull cards and clarify them, and then I have an advice card to pull at the end. Thank you so much, Capricorn, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. Bye, Capricorn.